Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
JD here.
And
Mr. JD.
Mr. J. Oh, that's right, Mr. JD.
Mr. JD.
We're not allowed to talk. We're not allowed to talk now. Do we have to ask for a hall pass?
I wrote so many hall passes in the last 2 days. It was crazy.
Is that what they call you though, Mr. JD?
No, I had. They're supposed to call me Mr. Oliva, but so many of the wrestlers have called me JD since they were in like 5th, 6th grade that I eventually think it's just going to filter through.
Yeah,
I'll be JD soon. We'll see how the principal.
And they'll pass it on to the next class, and then
Been there for,
it's
my 7th year at this school. That's just I'm not going to fight it. I don't really care, to be honest with you. So I've also never really been called by my last name. Like no one's ever said, "Hey, Oliva" to me ever. It's just JD. I've always been JD. So we'll see.
There you go.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
What was it? Chris Pratt. Did you see that recently? He posted that someone asked him about being called Chris when there's 2 other Chris's in the MCU, Hemsworth and Evans, and he's like
Chris squared and Chris cubed.
And he said it's weird because no one calls him Chris. Everyone calls him CP. That in his friend circle,
Neat.
So,
I mean, it happens. People have nicknames and stuff like that. It's almost it's also a necessity when you have multiple people. And it's not like those guys go and hang out or anything like that. Like they're work friends.
Exactly. So Mr. Oliva, how are you doing besides starting a new job?
I'm all right. The teaching thing went okay for the first couple of days. It's weird because I didn't know what I was teaching until about a week before school started. Teaching graphics 1 this semester and graphics 3. Graphics 3 are my juniors, I guess. And then I have 4 classes of graphics 1. Fortunately, the guy who left his entire lesson plan with video examples of everything he's ever done.
Wow.
So I'm just going to follow that for this year until I get comfortable. I got to be a little more creative with the graphics 3 kids. And the next semester I'll have graphics 2 and video production 1. So
not bad.
Yeah, these are semester classes.
Right.
So it's interesting. Like I said, the teaching aspect I went okay with. It's like the logistics of it, like using this program for this and that program for that. And you have to have your grade book lined up. It's like, that's the stuff that's confusing me and stressing me out. And it's a running joke on the show that every time we're about to start the show, I have to take a poop. And this week, like no other, I had to take a poop before the show. And I noticed, I think I pooped 4 times today, legitimately. I think it's just the stress of starting the new job has finally come off me. Because I got my Fitbit and my resting heart rate has been significantly higher than it normally is, consistently for days upon days upon days upon days. And it's starting to get back to normal. So I think it's finally, my body's finally adjusting and the tensions of doing something new are finally lifting off. So, but it was fine. I found time to do some writing too, so not abandoning that.
Lifting off or splashing down?
It depends on the time of day.
Yeah, you got to keep writing. Who else is going to keep killing me? I mean,
I got to keep killing you. Got to keep killing you. Someone's got to keep killing you.
You got to keep coming out with the Kickstarter so I can get killed.
I'm pretty sure there's a long list of people who would volunteer for that.
To be killed? You'd think
no, to kill John.
Well, I know a few people that do it without my prompting, if they could manage it. But this is a completely different. This is killing me softly. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and how are you doing?
Weird day. I finally started. People who are listening to this don't understand that with some programmers like me, sometimes you can look at something for 2 weeks and nothing gets through the old brain case.
Mm-hmm.
But then like all of a sudden you'll have this epiphany, and then bam, everything makes sense. You know exactly what you're doing. And that's what happened to me today with the Minecraft stuff. So I finally figured it out. And the first thing I did was make everything break. So, but that's a good step in a programmer's world, because, you know, at least you're starting to flip the right switches and everything. And
it's when you get an error and you're testing and you keep getting the same error. And then when you finally get a different error, you're like, progress.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like this week is when I go over it with my nephew and we start putting together a new mod, and we're trying, he's got a theme for it already. So it's kind of exciting teaching a 12-year-old how to program, you know, again, like, you know, by my age, I want him to be like a multimillionaire, because, you know, he should be able to teach classes in high school if he keeps interested in it, which he seems to be, because he keeps bugging me. So it's really cool. I can't wait to see what he does.
Cool.
And he's also an artist. He's been drawing for a long time. I got him one of those art pad. Was it electronic Bluetooth art pads?
Yeah.
That hook up with your laptop so you can draw. And he does some really neat things with that. So
my son all of a sudden, like a year and a half ago, said he wanted one, and I was shocked, and I got him, and I'm like, he's actually really good. And I'm like, where has this been?
Yeah, I mess up when I draw stick figures. So it's like I literally have no capacity for that kind of thing. But yeah, other than that, I watched Prey, and I would really, really suggest that. It was freaking awesome.
Well, I was curious. Did you watch it, JD? That was your...
I wanted to, and I didn't have time.
Yeah. It's like the only reason I had time was because I, hurt my back again yesterday. And so this morning I just laid down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's on Hulu, but they show you commercials in the beginning and then they don't interrupt it for the rest of the time, which is nice. And it's well worth it. JD, this one is well worth your time when you.
I know, I've heard good things.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Why is my computer making noises?
Whisper sweet nothings to it. Hey, baby,
those are our voices, Dave.
I'm here for you. I'm here. It's like that Boys to Men, that guy who always did the interludes in the Boys to Men albums.
Oh God,
girl. I don't know why. Jokes from the 90s.
Oh my God.
Yes, the 90s when boy bands roamed the earth.
It's like, they did.
Yes.
I don't have Hulu, so I can't watch it. So I'm curious what you I mean, John says it's good, so I'm then curious what you're going to say, JD. And also, I like the first one, but that was about it.
That's everybody's.
The movies.
The one that Robert Rodriguez made was pretty good. I like that one.
Was that Predators?
Predators.
Yeah. Okay.
The alien ones were bad.
Oh yeah.
I like the Danny Glover one too. Like, it's a little bit sillier, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad. This one is, I think this one's vying for first place. Huh. It really was that good. I mean, it is well worth your time. Get some popcorn, or ice cream or whatever your fun food is, and just sit down and enjoy.
Yeah, I might do that after the show.
Or maybe not.
Might. I don't know. See how I feel.
I saw a completely different kind of movie.
Yeah.
Over the weekend. The new Elvis movie with Tom Hanks as Colonel Potter and the kid playing Elvis. I can't think of his name.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Elvis movie?
Yeah, you don't remember seeing the previews for this?
Parker, not Potter.
I'm sorry, you're right, Parker.
That's why I was confused. I'm like, who is Colonel Potter? I thought you meant MASH for a second.
Austin Butler.
That's why it went in my head. Even though he does call him Colonel Sanders at one point, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, Austin Butler is Elvis. That's you're talking
yes. He's the kid who plays Elvis, and it's just like it wasn't what I was expecting. It's very artsy, and it's told from Colonel Parker's point of view. It's him telling the story right before he dies, basically. And yeah, no. I know I'm sounding like I didn't like it. I liked it. It's very different. But of course, it also focuses on a lot of the negative things in Elvis's life. But
no, it's a movie.
Yeah,
I remember
drama,
I remember the day he died. I remember exactly what I was doing the day they announced on the radio that he was dead. He was that
3.
big in the world,
I was 3, so I don't remember it. But
I was helping my mother get groceries out of the car.
I wasn't dead. I wasn't born. Who said I wasn't dead? I wasn't dead. I wasn't born.
You were in
weren't born in
between.
77. Yeah, you wouldn't have been.
Nope.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, I mean it was a big deal. But I mean there's a lot of things I didn't realize. Like in the 70s, he spent most of his time playing in Vegas.
Yeah, well,
But that was because of like I don't like. Do you guys know this? He wasn't a U.S. citizen. He was an illegal immigrant who
From where?
was Dutch. He denounced his Dutch citizenship, so he had no citizenship.
He's
And
a citizen of the world.
well, the problem that's
truly
why
was.
he kept Elvis wanted to go on a world tour, and he kept him from doing it because he couldn't go with him because he couldn't get a passport because he wasn't a citizen anywhere. So he tricked him into staying and playing at this casino in Vegas in the 70s. Like there was the comeback special that like really reinvigorated people's interest in him, and that would have been the ultimate time to do this tour, and he talked them out of it. So yeah, it was interesting. Like I didn't realize all this stuff, but like watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So
Yeah, his work is still like some of the best rock and roll you'll ever hear.
he's still the number one solo artist of all time, record sales.
Yeah, and with reason. For you young ones listening to us out there, who am I kidding? Everybody's our age that listens to us.
That is not true. We do have some younger listeners, but yeah, that was what I did this week, and I watched a new show on Disney Plus. Did you watch it, JD?
I watched it.
Oh, okay. So yes, we all watched She-Hulk. I'm it's. I want to hear what you guys think first.
Are we going right to that? Oh,
yeah. I thought that we were doing social media first, but okay.
Yeah, we can skip social media. We don't. What social media? We don't care.
No. Maybe I put it backwards in the email. We'll do She-Hulk and then social media.
Oh, you did She-Hulk first.
I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just watched it, so it's nice and fresh.
Oh, cool.
All right, so JD, then you go first since it's freshest in your mind.
It was entertaining. I laughed. I was light. It was kind of what I thought it was going to be. Ally McBeal superhero-ish,
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a strong opinion about it one way or another. Like, I sat down and watched it with the wife, and we had some laughs, and it was very inoffensive half hour of programming. I mean, like, I don't have anything else to really say about it. Like, I don't think we have an overall narrative going yet. It was just it felt very much like a pilot.
It did. I feel like they're setting up a narrative, but
for sure. We're not there yet, though.
Right.
Like, this is very much, which we don't do a lot in Marvel anymore, right?
No.
This is Jen. This is her origin.
It was done very quickly too. The origin. I mean, which is fine.
It wasn't done very quickly. Actually, they played it off like it was done quickly, but it was the vast majority of the episode was her origin.
Yeah, but half an hour is still better than.
Oh no, agreed. Yeah, totally. It was fine. Like they kept the tone of the She-Hulk comic.
Yes, I loved the fourth wall breaking. Definitely, that was the best part. The couple times she did it.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to think about it quite yet. Like, people like, this is the best Marvel thing ever. I'm like, let's slow ourselves a little bit. It's not bad by a stretch of the imagination. It's just kind of there right now, Schrodinger's television show.
Love it.
But is it better? Do you think it was better or worse than some of the others?
I think I like the first Miss Marvel episode more. I found that to be more imaginative. Like, I think that hit me. I think that show spoke to me more than I was expecting it to. Whereas this one kind of hit every note I kind of thought was coming, and it was fine, but it wasn't like I wasn't moved by it, but it was fine. It was largely inoffensive. It was entertaining. I'll probably watch it next week specifically because we have to for the show, but I don't know. Cool. What do you think, John?
It was better than I thought it'd be. There were little things about it, like from what I've heard, they rejiggered things a little bit, and so the scenes of her as She-Hulk, I think were originally supposed to be towards the end, and so they aren't like completely rendered, and so you can see that the CGI on her as opposed to Hulk is a little bit off.
Yeah,
but just a little bit, but it should be better but that was nothing because everything just seemed fine. I mean, like, I liked the way she played it off as like, oh yeah, this took you 15 years, huh? I'm done. That's it. She like no alter ego. It's just and her personality was fun. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to have a lighter tone, and they did that. They're supposed to have some kind of actual plan for the fourth wall breaking. Like, I'm hearing all sorts of rumors, like they're going to use that in particular to introduce Deadpool or something. I mean, all I know is the directors actually said that the fourth wall breaking is a thing. Like it's not just, oh, we're just going to do the fourth wall breaking because you did it. They have an actual plan for it.
Well, she does it in the comics, though.
Yeah,
right.
do.
But they're making it mean something else as well in the MCU.
But that doesn't mean Deadpool necessarily, especially because they promised us Daredevil.
Yeah, but
we're not going to get both.
Right, but they compared it to in WandaVision when they did that one episode where she was doing the Family Matter, or was it
Family Ties?
Yeah, not the Family Ties, the one where they were talking to the camera.
The Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, the Malcolm in the Middle one, and they said that they compared it to that where all of a sudden she got an answer, and she would, you're not supposed to get an answer when you're fourth wall breaking like that, so
maybe we'll be Daredevil.
I mean, I was saying, yeah, Deadpool. That would be interesting. That's who she's talking to, but and they're comparing it to Fleabag, where people are actually seeing her do it. So like there is some actual plan. This is like actually going to mean something. Other than that, I thought showing that Tony had helped build that little area there for Banner was kind of nice,
I like that. I like that Tony, you could see that Banner was struggling still.
Yeah.
With the loss of Tony and Steve. Steve's not dead. He might be, actually. He was pretty old at the end of the Endgame. But I mean, he seemed like a guy who was still kind of figuring out what his purpose is now.
Right.
I like that. Like, I think we got some, it's always, we get a little bit of character development on Hulk and everything.
Yep. Yeah. Which is good. Like, they could have just played it, as him just a sounding board for exposition or something. And yet they're still building. Did
you guys see James Gunn's tweet in relation to this?
No. What is it?
So the big gag of the episode was Steve Rogers' a virgin?
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing of, he lost his virginity in 1943 in a USO tour. There's an autograph seeker in Captain America, the First Avenger, right? This really pretty blonde girl.
Laura Haddock.
Yes. Do you know who else Laura Haddock played?
Quill's mother.
Yes. And James Gunn said, yep. So Captain America is Star-Lord's grandpa.
No.
He's playing along with it. I don't know if they're going to go with it, but until they don't tell me it's not real, it's headcanon to me.
I saw someone saying that they felt like Hulk made that up because he just wanted her to shut up about it.
Cap ain't no virgin. Just humping Peggy Carter too.
Well, I'm saying, who knows if he didn't, when he went back in time, that's when he was with Peggy.
Cap wasn't no virgin. Come on, man. He was a 35-year-old man at the end of that.
And Agent 13, right?
Yeah. Cap totally humped Agent 13. Let's just put that, like, there's no way he did not.
That kiss was a little too much tongue to have not.
Yes, correct. I mean, Cap. No, it's funnier this way too.
Yeah, because the first thing he has to tell Peggy when he goes back in time is, the niece you don't have yet.
Hey, you gotta move forward.
You have to, because she's not born yet.
Or backward in this case.
Yeah.
No, I love the idea of Star-Lord possibly having relation to Captain America. I thought that's hilarious.
That would be cool.
So I jumped, like, first thing Thursday morning, I jumped on my TV and put it on because it was like, I don't want any spoilers, right? And I watched it, I enjoyed it, I laughed when I was supposed to laugh, and I'm like, this is good, and I definitely feel like they're setting up a story arc for She-Hulk, like Walters. I can't think of her first name.
Jennifer Walters, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're definitely setting up a story arc for her, a hero's journey for her, right? Because she's given her powers, but like, she has a life already that she loves. She doesn't want to give up that life to be a superhero.
And the closing statements.
Yeah, she's given no choice. So.
And the closing statements that they started the episode with. It's like, this is what she's going to go through. Does she have a responsibility to use the powers to help people? So
why was that? Titania? Why did she break in specifically at that moment? Who is being prosecuted? Did we ever get a name?
No, but the guy on the other side was the CEO of Roxxon. So he might have engineered for her to come in to test Jennifer Walters, because there's history there in the comics,
or to get him out. with
True.
just Roxanne in general.
Hmm.
I believe this might be Roxanne's first appearance in the MCU.
Oh no, they've been in the background
Are
all
they?
over the place.
Have they? But I mean, like playing an actual role.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I
Roxanne's
know.
kind of been there. Like Roxanne, yeah, for comic fans, like, oh yeah, Roxanne. That's the Marvel equivalent of Exxon,
Right.
the evil oil company. So, but I think this is the first time actually playing a role in something.
I think you're right.
The first where you actually have one of their CEOs or
Right. The first time you've seen someone from the company, like you've seen the logo and other things.
And they was it the warehouse, the big place that they stayed in was it the alternate timeline where there's the big storm? They stayed in the Walmart type thing. It was a Roxxon place in Loki. And it was in the background of a couple of different scenes in a couple of the different movies and such.
Roxanne played a big part of Marvel in the 70s and 80s. I don't think it's been as much of a part since then. It's there, but I don't think it's like, because Roxanne was like a thing really at that point in Marvel, like in the like I said, the shooter era, if you will.
So, but then I watched it. I enjoyed, like I said, I felt like there was some, and then it got review bombed. I heard on IMDb.
That's ridiculous.
But I kind of wonder if a lot of that comes from the Snyder heads. Like they said that in that article, like they were review bombing other superhero stuff to build up the Snyder stuff,
That's why you can't trust these review sites anymore, man.
Yeah. I honestly think you shouldn't allow people to post reviews until something is actually released. Like, but I'm crazy,
But at the same time, you can't stop people from photobombing reviews because there's nothing you can do to stop it, right?
No, but I mean, people who honestly I don't know. You're right. Like you don't know if someone actually saw it or not, but at least have them wait until the show's released.
Like I've had people review books of mine that clearly haven't read the book.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to do?
But then the other thing was, I did see the same criticism from people that are comic book fans and usually like some of the Marvel stuff. And I was like, really? That was your problem with it? They kept calling Jen stubborn. And I'm like,
stubborn? She's a lawyer. I mean,
she's a Hulk. Wait. Here's the problem. She's a woman.
Oh, how dare she?
No, because I saw women saying this too.
Oh, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of women who jump on those bandwagons as well.
Yeah.
Like women are not exactly the solidarity line here.
It's not proper.
Or like a lot of other things,
How gosh.
But my thing is, it's like you've got Tony Stark was very arrogant. That's what it was. Arrogant, not stubborn. She was arrogant. And I'm like, well, Tony Stark was arrogant, and so is Star-Lord. And so like all these characters were arrogant. It's what defined them. And then they went through something that made them change. Like, just enjoy the ride. That's probably the ride that we're going on. She's going to realize, oh, wait, I've got this power. I've got this responsibility. And like, it's going to change her attitude. Like,
but that's
at least that is my hope for the show.
But here's the thing too, is it's also the character, right? She says like, I have to be like, she controls her anger. I love that whole diatribe of first. Like, I have to control my anger and she listed up a bunch of good reasons. And that kind of,
every time I'm catcalled, every time a man tries to mansplain something to me. Yep.
I saw somebody though who was honestly reviewing the show, was not going on any anti-women rants or anything, but he's like, she lied because she lost it two times in the episode and hulked out. And
the first time she hulked out, right? I mean, the first time
he wasn't referring to the first time. It was at the bar when those guys walked up after she said she had called Bruce, and then
right.
She didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah, within 24 hours of her getting the powers and not knowing.
It's not a lie. It's not knowing.
And then when he was talking to her, she got angry and turned into the Hulk.
She was
because he was prodding her to.
And he's her cousin.
Right. And he was trying to show to her like,
well, because he was right. He had a point, but she also has a point. Her point. Okay, so this is why fucking people are so stupid. Not you, Dave. These reviewers, like, people say things and they're not always right. They're not always accurate. They're not always lies. People tell lies to themselves to make themselves feel comfortable, or because they believe things. But some dumbass with a freaking YouTube page, like, well, she's clearly lying. No, you dumbass. It's a fucking character. Jesus Christ, this pisses me off when people are so like obtuse intentionally. Like characters don't tell the truth all the time. Human beings don't tell the truth all the time. They can lie to themselves. It's character development. It's acting like a human being. God damn.
Yeah, I agree with him.
How?
I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers.
I agree with you, JD. It's like these review bombs and everything. They purposely read things into it so that they can be angry at it.
Well, here's the thing. I think, but like you just said, that's the point. Is he made her angry on purpose to show she isn't as in control as she thinks, and I think that's going to play.
Dave, I'm right. You're correct. You are 100%. I'm upset with these people who say she's lying. That's not a lie. That's a character. It's not bad writing for a character to say something that might not be 100%.
But I did see something, and I do question this. I do question this, and I think this is just a poor choice, I think, in the writer's point. So obviously the first time she turns into She-Hulk in the lab, she comes out and Bruce is like, calm. And she's like, why are you talking to me like that?
Yep.
But I also want everyone right now, she is acting a little different when she's She-Hulk. I don't care. There's something in her tone and the way she's talking.
She's more self-confident as She-Hulk. Like Banner's rage gets tweaked. This has always been part of the Jen Walters character. With her, it's her self-confidence.
Yeah.
That like gets projected forward,
and it gets her into trouble in the comics too, right?
It does. She's mouse like the Jen Walters character is naturally kind of mousy, where the Bruce Banner character is a closeted rageaholic.
Yeah,
right. So his Hulk is out of control rage, where hers isn't. Hers is like brash overconfidence typically. So I think that's kind of where we're headed with that. Like I think the Hulk magnifies a person what a person kind of is.
Right. Exactly. And yes, exactly. And I was trying to say that, but I do think this might have been, it's not like a big problem, but I do think it's an issue on the writer's point of view. When you look back on it, when those guys come up and talking to her and she hulks out, she winds up to kick them, and Bruce comes in and stops her and kidnaps her and takes her to the island at that point.
Okay.
So if she was fully cognizant at that point, she would have killed that guy.
She was, but she wasn't cognizant of the power. She didn't know she was changing back and forth. She didn't understand what was going on yet.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know that she's a Hulk. She's just moving and reacts. Right. Bruce is right. Bruce is 100% right with what he's doing.
Yeah.
And trying to train her. She is resisting it because conflict, drama.
Yes, exactly. That's the point of the
and overconfidence.
They are
and overconfidence.
Yeah.
Right.
And she comes, and that's the whole point at the end of the episode. She's like, I was overconfident. I don't know what I'm doing. Like that was the character arc of the episode.
I kind of like looking back on it. I wish they hadn't if she turned around and hulked out and he came and that was it. But she was winding up the kick, and it's bothering me a little bit. That's all.
She didn't know. I mean,
Hulk has killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's a rage monster who can't control.
She couldn't control it either, though.
That was the first few hours of her getting the powers, and she didn't even know what she was doing. My God, you don't have to read more into it than that. She didn't know what she was doing.
Right.
Yeah. If Hulk hadn't been there, she might have
It's the only thing that bothered me about the episode.
And I get it. It's a superhero thing, but that's I think that's the Banner thing is you don't know what you are until and Banner is stopping her from that's the whole character arc of Bruce. Is he know this in this episode? Is he knows what it's like to be a Hulk, and he's trying to get her to take it seriously.
Right.
And she's almost in denial about it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's almost, but that's a normal human reaction to those kind of things. And the fact that it's coming, controlling herself is coming easier to her than it did to him.
Right. And that has him confounded too a little bit.
Yes. Right. Because he doesn't understand what's going on. I assume that's going to be a theme for the episode, because it's always been She-Hulk, right? She-Hulk will always had her faculties way quicker than Bruce did. Again, Bruce is an out of control rage monster, where she's not. But you're right, she did overreact. But it's just the fact that she didn't kill them is something you have to kind of lean into. She was stopped. But it's also not the first time something like this has gone on. Superman killed millions of people in his first action.
And later on in the comics, and later on in the comics, Jennifer Walters' friend gets killed, right? like one of her assistants,
Probably.
a friend of hers gets killed because
I'm not that well versed in the She-Hulk.
I was
just know enough.
I was looking it up and this today, and that was supposedly like a turning point when she started to take things more seriously in the comics. But you know that you know, we've got plenty of time to grow in the next few episodes. So
yeah, something's going to happen, and she's going to like.
She's going to have to
realize, like, oh my God, I've got to take this seriously. Blah blah.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, I mean, it's like the problem is that it's too easy for her. You know, Banner was only listing off all the problems that took him years to fix, but that's not all of the problems. And
with being
JD
Hulk,
again,
right.
she's just being overconfident because she's like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. See, I'm all good. And it's like, no, this takes time.
But at the same time, he's listing off what he experienced as
True.
the Hulk.
Yeah,
and that's I think what part she was talking about is everybody assumes that they know what's going on. And that's the conflict, is they're both right.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both not wrong at this. Like, they're both wrong at the same time. And that's what makes the interesting conflict, is like, from Bruce's perspective, I've been the Hulk, you haven't been the Hulk. There's things you can learn from me. She's like, I'm mastering this faster than you, and I'm okay. I can handle this. And he's not acknowledging the fact that he is. And he's getting mad about the fact that she's mastering it faster than he did. So he's letting his own frustrations kind of percolate.
True.
Right.
And she'll have she could have all different issues.
Which is what we're going to find out, I think, that she does, which we're seeing. Like, what triggers her is different.
Like him picking up the boulder and putting it into orbit to like say like, well, I'm still the strongest, you know? Yeah.
Right. Because she's like, I got this. And he's like, look, I'm teaching you.
Right.
That's just a little like I know more than you do. Listen. And that's the whole episode. I know more than you do. Listen to me.
So they explained the Shang-Chi ending when he's Bruce, because he's Bruce in the beginning of this. He invented it. Like, here's what I don't get. This is one of the things I didn't get about the episode, and I understand why they did it, because he had to get hurt to have his blood drip into her wound.
I was wondering how they could do that, because the transfusions is a weird thing to do in 2022.
Yes, especially have to do a transfusion from a relative. But the whole thing was like, I made this device to stay as Bruce Banner so that his arm could heal properly, but the Hulk has a accelerated healing.
But I believe his arm hasn't healed though, right? We've seen him later. Hasn't his arm still been messed up?
No, he was showing that his arm was healed. That when they were in the car in the beginning, he's talking about.
I got that. But I mean, like, didn't it take as long time for his arm? Have we seen him in other places before where his arm wasn't healed? I forget.
Yeah.
The Shang-Chi post
almost every time
his arm's in a sling, but he's Bruce Banner.
He's been in a sling ever since Endgame.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I think the way they're going to explain it is that whatever the Infinity Gauntlet did to his arm, the gamma radiation when he's a Hulk is like still damaging it, or, you know, preventing it from healing or something like that. Because he said when he got to use her blood that had slightly different properties than his to finally fix the problem and heal his arm when he became the Hulk.
Magic bullet.
Yeah,
yes.
probably.
It's all magic bullet stuff.
Probably.
But that's like, John likes to talk about Deus Ex Machinas. That, my friends, was a giant Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Fine, whatever. It's science fiction. It wasn't one that drove the plot. Well, kind of. It was kind of that drove our inciting incident. But I mean, like, it's not like the plot relied on that whole thing.
It's mildly.
Well, they also like.
Yeah. Again,
I don't know if they ever truly explained it in the comics. I'm sure they did, but he never really has explained how he became Professor Hulk in the MCU.
I thought he said it in this episode. He kind of talked about, just like, I hate to use that phrase, but working on himself, right? And maybe it is more. Maybe we will see more of it someday.
He's still Smart Hulk.
He is Smart Hulk. It's the Professor for Mike.
Maybe.
You know, that's the persona from the comics. They call it the Professor.
Yeah.
I think because in the comics, it's like he has this big psychological battle with himself, which I would love to see. I don't think we're ever going to get that though, because we're never going to get that Hulk movie.
Well, unless Universal gives up the rights.
Why would they? Marvel don't like to share. They do with Sony because, like, they kind of got the crown jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sony actually, like, I don't know, bailed Marvel out of financial, you know, they put Marvel back into financial solvency a couple decades ago. So they do kind of owe Sony a solid on that. They don't owe Universal nothing.
No.
Universal is barely a studio.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
It's true. Well, we own them, right?
I'll say, John, be careful what you say. There could be assassins. There could be assassins at your door any minute.
They kind of suck. I mean, who the hell owns the? Oh God. Oh, that's
So,
right.
yeah,
You guys, Universal logo. A Comcast.
You guys sipped in perfect sync there. That was crazy.
Okay, so if I'm gonna at this moment, without having seen anything further yet, I don't want to see if this is going to stay this way until the show ends. For Marvel TV shows, for me, this is in third place currently.
That's not
That's
bad.
fair. That's higher
With,
than I thought you were going to say, to be honest.
yeah.
With
WandaVision being first, Loki being 2, and then this being 3, and then Miss Marvel being a close 4th.
I think I like Miss Marvel more.
Well,
I'm
wait
not
until we
sure.
see more of it.
Yeah, I want to see more before I make a judgment. But
If they go the way I'm thinking with her character arc, I think, it might move up.
I don't know I still don't know where we're going as like a show. Like I saw nothing really long term. I don't, and that's a bad thing. Maybe they're going to do this as kind of more like an old TV show, which is like done in ones.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. It's interesting though. I did, like I said, I really like Ms. Marvel. Like I was surprised at how much I like Ms. Marvel. WandaVision was like art, and I liked Cap Winter Soldier at the time, but I don't want to go back and watch it. And I think that probably tells me that I didn't really like it that much.
Yeah.
Loki was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was interesting.
It was. I haven't seen Moon Knight, so I can't make a judgment on that.
Cap and Winter Soldier, the payoff got screwed up by that little
I feel like
preachy screech. So like, why would you want to watch it again? Because you know what's at the end and it's not fun. There's no payoff.
I feel like we dropped the ball a little bit at the end of Cap Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I don't think they quite marched into the end zone the way they thought.
Hawkeye just feels like it just existed. It was,
but
there
Hawkeye was
just
fun too.
Bring in Kate Bishop though. That's what it really felt like. It just brought her in, but didn't do anything with her.
I didn't like Hawkeye on that. Like I watched the first episode and I was just kind of like, it just didn't grab me at all. I don't know why. Like maybe I was in a bad place trying to watch it.
Yeah.
I watched that first episode and I was so like lukewarm to it. And it put me off of even watching Moon Knight. Like I just I don't know, man. I really went through a malaise with Marvel stuff for a little while there. And I only watched Miss Marvel because Michelle was like, I want to see it. Let's watch this. And I was pleasantly surprised with Pleasantly. I really liked it. I was surprised. Like I had such low expectations for that one that
it came off very much like, I hate to say it, but her character came off very much as like a female Peter Parker.
Yeah. Oh, that's what she is. 100%.
Yeah.
Youthful exuberance and all that. Yeah.
But also like, seeing the superheroes like we would see them.
Right.
Like the whole point is you can identify with her because she's looking at like, this is awesome. And we're like, it is.
It was definitely that energy.
And we didn't get that before this.
Yeah.
Like we saw the peripheralness of people being fans and like Spider-Man and stuff like that, but we never got really a story about someone who was a fan. Like, and that was a unique way to tackle that material, which I thought translated really well. Like that was a surprise. That's actually one of my favorite. What's phase are we in? I lose track. Are we in 4?
Or
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically in 4.
It's one of my favorite phase 4 things, which is, like I said, surprising. I didn't have much. I never read any Kamala Khan books or anything like that. So I had very, very low expectations going in.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Daredevil though. Let me tell you that.
I can't wait for him to show up in this show. Oh.
The old school threads, the yellow and red.
I wonder if they're going to explain it or if it's just going to be like,
I don't know. I don't know. This is the same character that walked around with just like you guys saw Trial of the Incredible Hulk, right? Back in the day.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that was how Daredevil dressed in that movie. He was just in the solid black.
Yep. Which Daredevil has already been through doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. We had that. So maybe, I don't know. I'm very excited to see where that goes.
I know how I can squash your excitement.
Oh God.
We can go on to social media madness.
I kind of need it because I kind of need to yell at more people after that. I got
you scared me a little bit. You hulked out.
I did hulk out there. Like the internet is great because it gives everybody a voice, right? We're here because the internet gives everyone a voice.
It also sucks because it gives everybody
a voice. Some people don't deserve to have a voice. Like it just makes like I get so tired of people who don't know the first thing about constructing a character talk about why writing is bad. And it's not bad. It's just you're dumb. Like that's
one of the things that drives me nuts. And I love your explanation of like people lie to themselves, and that's the absolute perfect way to describe that.
They do.
But The thing that drives me nuts is when She-Hulk comes out and they're like, oh, look, they made a female version. It's like, or they talk about Batgirl coming out. Like, people who are not comic book fans.
They made a female version. Yes, get mad at Stan Lee in 1979 for that one.
Yep.
Yes, right. Like, that was the whole thing. I'm like,
You know why?
they're turning Hulk into a woman for the movies, and it's like, no. Or they even said that with Natalie Portman for Love and Thunder.
Thor, yeah, because they don't.
It's like, read the comic.
Do you know why they did that initially?
What?
Why they brought She-Hulk in? The impetus for it?
No.
Because I forget the name of the guy. The producer of the Hulk was also the guy who made money in the $6 Million Man. And when the $6 Million Man got famous, what was the first thing he did?
The Jamie
Bionic
Summers,
Woman.
the Bionic Woman, yeah.
So
Yes.
so they all went, damn it, they're gonna do this. We need to get it. We need to do this before they do it. Same reason why Joe Quesada said we need to do the origin of Wolverine. If we don't do it, someone else is gonna do it, and then we're gonna have to live with it.
Yeah. And then
Nice.
I'm gonna love to see what happens if they ever bring in Spider-Woman. Because
They keep talking about it.
yeah, but which version do you bring in? And it's
They're doing Madam Web for some reason. I know Sony just. So if Sony doesn't even beat the dead horse, they're like grinding up the dead horse and making dog food out of the dead horse and
a little bit of glue too.
to try and keep
out
of it. Yes.
Like
Morbius is the
Well, let's get
glue of the literally the glue of the Sony universe.
there you go.
let's get to our dead horse, social media madness.
I'm not even mad at it this week. I have no rage left to give.
We last week,
All
of course,
cleaned out, huh?
I'm all cleaned out. I'm good.
the main topic was The Last Action Hero. During the
Big
show,
guns.
you're like, I wonder what Ray's take would be on this. So he replied to us. He said,
Cool.
asked for my opinion if Last Action Hero would work in 2022. No, it absolutely wouldn't, because we are so numb to spoofs and meta commentaries over the last 30 years. Since it would have zero effect. For its time, it was revolutionary, but not today. Oh, wait. And then he replied, every single genre has been commentated to death thanks to the success of Scary Movie, and everything since has just been nauseating to watch because it was overdone. It's like having potatoes with every meal. Eventually you want some steak.
First thing I'd say is steak and potatoes together work very, very well, my friend.
He's not wrong, though.
He's not wrong. No, he's actually not wrong.
It's been done over. I mean, heck, New Nightmare. Was it New Nightmare or... Yeah.
New Nightmare was the commentary on horror movies.
Right.
And then Wes Craven wasn't happy with that, so then he made Scream.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Like,
I don't
so...
like
I do too.
New Nightmare's an underrated jam, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
it's the best one, I think, in my
it's the
opinion.
second. I really like the first one a lot. I think that's a very inventive horror movie, and and I don't like slashers that much.
Yeah.
Like that's my least favorite horror movie subgenre. But Nightmare on Elm Street, you gotta give it respect because it was so influential and so goddamn gory.
Yeah.
And then I thought New Nightmare did a great job putting the spin on it.
Yeah.
Like it's because if you look at it, New Nightmare, The Curse of Michael Myers, and Jason Goes to Hell are all kind of like the same movie, right? They're all trying to kind of reinvent what the villain was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And the only one that's even halfway decent is New Nightmare,
Yeah. No, I agree.
but he wasn't. It's like he wanted to make this meta horror with the late great Wes Craven wanted to make this horror stand like meta take on horror and didn't quite stick the landing. So then he felt the need to make Scream, and that just rebooted the whole slasher subgenre. So everybody missed the point.
And then we got Scary Movie,
Which was the parody of the parody.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, they even said, I mean, yeah, they made fun of it. I don't know. It was like a fourth wall break and a fourth wall break. It was really, really meta when they got into those.
It gets there too, when the Zucker brothers take it over and it becomes like a Signs comedy. Like they make fun of M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Oh, and they made that one. I think it was Sheen that made the comment.
Yeah, that's
They came all the, and they have an interstellar travel and they came all this way, but they can't get through a closet door. And you go back to Signs, it's like, yeah, it's just they can't get through a pantry door.
The first time I saw Signs, I was so into it, man. And the scares are like legit, like especially if you watch it in the theater. That scene where you just see the alien's leg going through the cornfield, spooky. And then like the early found footage used in the movie of the alien, spooky. I remember at the end going, man, they never showed us the alien. That's so gutsy. And then the very next scene, the aliens in the living room, like, oh
yeah.
And then I loved it. And then I thought it. Then I watched it again, and I was like, they're afraid of water, but they come to a planet that's 78% water. Water. That's a bold choice. And then you like, again, it's like a Shyamalan movie. Like you should never rewatch a Shyamalan movie.
Yeah,
no, you can't
watch it and then walk away. Because the second you put the slightest bit of like criticism into it, it kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
The nostalgia critic did a review of Signs, and it's one of his best.
That guy's okay.
And
that guy's not on my shit list.
I know. During the point where they boarded up everything and they're waiting for, and they hear the aliens like testing stuff around, he did this voiceover of what the aliens were saying. It's like, no, we're really scary. Really, why are you talking over us? We're invading. It's like, I'm sorry. I found it hysterical because, it's like, oh, who thought we would come to this world and find so much wood? It's like
M. Night Shyamalan is like, he had this really cool concept that got made into a movie, became a super big hit. But again, that's a movie you can only watch once, because once you know the twist, it's not worth watching again.
Well, and then they let him go, and he did, what was it, Lady in the Water, and that was
the Village sucked too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And then I was about to say, his second movie, which was Signs, was okay.
Third, Unbreakable is the second movie.
Unbreakable.
And I actually like Unbreakable. That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, Unbreakable was good. Then he ruined it with the others. But
yeah, well, that's the problem. Is that like he became known as the twist guy?
Yeah.
Right, and then you have to keep. And then Unbreakable didn't really have a twist, right?
No, other than
Samuel L. Jackson's the villain. That's kind of a twist.
Yeah,
but you could also kind of see that coming.
Yes,
like a mile away. So. And that was like disappointed people. So like, oh, I got to keep making these twists. And then he gets himself all twisted up. And the next thing I'm watching The Happening, where trees are trying to kill people, with Mark Wahlberg going, the trees are trying to kill people. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And Zoe Deschanel is trying, man. She's trying so hard to get this thing to work, but it just sucks. Oh, poor.
All right. Yeah. Back to Last Action Hero.
Oh, wow. We're back.
Why to Know, or at the great Canadian neckbeard.
What a great tag. What a great tag.
He says, a lot of critics at the time completely missed that Last Action Hero was a parody, both of the genre and of Schwarzenegger. So they panned it as though the cartoon wasn't a giveaway. 18-year-old me enjoyed it so much that I bought the VHS, and I'm sure I have it on DVD somewhere. And then he also replied with, Benedict is still one of my favorite villains.
That's great.
They gave him amazing lines, and the bit about that in the real world, the bad guys can win, made me appreciate the escapism of hero movies so much more. This movie deserves so much more success.
I was just happy that they made him smart, at least until the very end, when he could have, you could have brought out like Dracula or something instead of brought out the slasher guy. But otherwise, yeah, he was a pretty flawless villain.
Yeah, but it kind of made, because it was a movie, he had to bring out the Ripper.
Yeah.
Charles Dance is fantastic, just as he was great as the head of the Lannister family in Game of Thrones. I can't remember what his first name was. Tyrell Lannister.
Lannister.
Yeah. He's awesome.
And then Drew C said,
my guy.
This was my first time seeing the movie.
Oh, wow.
Interesting that it starts with violence in an elementary school. Wouldn't fly these days.
No, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either.
Wow.
Because we went to the roof. You didn't really
Yeah, you didn't see anything in the school, but you're right.
That's like, remember Die Hard I'm thinking about Die Hard with a Vengeance. Remember, a good chunk of that takes place in an elementary school where there's a bomb. There's a bomb in an elementary school.
Well, I mean, a lot of movies in hindsight, even Spider-Man, the promos they did for Spider-Man,
the Twin Towers.
They had him with the web and the Twin Towers and the helicopter, and they had to take that out because,
people were very sensitive about that back then.
Of course, the other big thing we talked about last week was, which we have more on in the news,
this dude,
Ezra Miller, of course.
Oh my God, how is he not in jail?
And the future of the
stay tuned, by the way,
the Flash for the Warner Brothers Pictures, and Tuzanki, Tozunaki, who's at Tuzanki, said, maybe you should also discuss how media and the crowds support Ezra's stalker, who stalked them already for 6 years and want Ezra to be with her or to be dead, and how the media help her use her as a source of information.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say this person. Oh, sweet! Check out. Did you bother?
And then,
Dave, did you hold on? Did you actually look at this person's avatar?
Yeah, hold on. We'll get to that in a second, because of course the Gorilla Brain podcast replied to her, said, "Careful, your fanboy is showing."
You gift her. Ray's great, by the way. Ray's fantastic at Twitter.
Her profile says, "I'm here for art, Severus Snape, One Piece, and Ezra Miller."
I'm going to go on a limb and say this is not a woman, and probably a guy who is nuts.
Just a little bit.
So the avatar is a painting of a woman, though, isn't it?
I mean, like, I can put an avatar of a teddy bear in mine to make me a teddy bear. Like, this person is lunatic. Like, I don't think they listen to our show. They're looking at their timeline. I'm gonna guess they just Google Ezra Miller stuff. I didn't know Ezra Miller had fans, right?
Yeah, I know. At this point,
Everybody has fans these days.
Like, I don't even know what that person's talking about the media wanting. I don't even know who he's like. The media wants this person to be with Ezra Miller. Who has said that?
Hell, for all we know, this could be like something set up by his press agent to try and,
I doubt that. This person has 89 followers. I don't think anyone set this up. I think this is just a lunatic. Like, this isn't even like, we're beyond bot territory with this person.
True.
This is a person who just searches Ezra Miller.
Right, and I did hashtag Ezra Miller in the post.
That's because you were searching for engagement. You got engagement. Be careful who you meet on the interwebs, like Mom and Dad
Careful what you wish for. Okay.
That person does not listen to our show, so I will say they are crazy banana pants.
Yeah, and Ezra Miller should be in jail. I mean, like
10 times over, man.
I'm sorry.
10 times over.
Like DC, boy, can DC pick him?
All right, we'll get to more on Ezra in a minute.
Yeah.
And finally, we had talked a couple weeks ago about the release of the Snyder Cut was fueled by bots. There's a big article in Rolling Stone that explains they had two independent firms research it and confirm this, blah, 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 blah. To which Randy Savage said, "No, I don't. It's not a terrible piece of shit, but I would really love for Snyder to make a film that is not incredibly long."
It's got a point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, speaking of people who I don't think listen to the show, Tonic Mole STW number 8070722.
That wasn't made by a bot,
right? No, it's this guy. This guy's got more followers than I do. Writer, artist, creator of Saving the World comic. Oh. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm willing to bet he does a lot of release the Snyder Cut type stuff.
So his response was, I mean, they estimated 13%, which is pretty much any hashtag. It really doesn't change things that much. I'd argue over 50%.
That's not true statistically. Most bot activities less.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I'd argue over 50% of all online marketing is fueled by bots. BOP appeared to have
Birds of Prey.
What?
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Okay, appeared to have a massive following online and bombed in real life. Proof is in the pudding. So obviously we talked about all of this in the show, and I did say, actually read the article in Rolling Stone. Average bot activity is like 5%. So this was 3 times as much, and 2 independent research companies confirmed this. So then he went on a tirade. Overall, maybe, but I'd like to see the average among similar movies. Again, we see numerous discrepancies between Twitter hype and in real life performance. I'm also suspicious of Rolling Stone and other outlets' sudden interest. Their hyper focus on one movie is weird. A breakdown of the industry in general would create more apples to apples comparison, as it comes off in an expansive hit job by a competing production company of Warner Brothers. I recommend looking into the fallout from the Lethal Weapon TV series. It's an interesting peek of how Warner Brothers independent production companies use the media to attack each other and individuals.
How's this guy have more Twitter followers than me? It infuriates me.
So like what he's talking apples to apples, but then like starts talking about the Lethal Weapon TV show. That I think that went down because the lead actor was nuts. They ended up firing him from the show, and then they had Wayne's trying to carry it himself with a new guy, and it just didn't work. It wasn't the same show. Whenever a lead actor leaves a show, it never works. Like that's
except for Doctor Who, but you know,
that's different. That's
it's written that way.
Yeah.
But like there's a few the Connors, like that is an exception.
Yeah.
But that's an exception that proves the rule, right?
Yeah.
Like it does, no, for the most part, you get a season more. If you're lucky, you get a season more. And like it is an apple. I mean, like when you're talking about this compared to that is an apples to apples comparison. When you're talking about online media, social media campaigns, like the piece pretty much lays, and when he says it's a hit job piece, like, oh, you're a Snyder fan. I get it. I'm also mad that you have way more Twitter followers than I do. And whatever, nerd.
But if he'd like to come on the show to talk about his comic, we'll gladly have him on.
Sure. He don't listen.
No, but like seriously, like that's a problem in general, not a problem with the Snyderverse.
Odd activity on the internet.
Because
it is a problem for sure. I mean, like
the whole thing of like they talked about this. This was really prevalent. I'm gonna say 10 years ago, where it was like they would look at a person's Twitter follower numbers to determine if they're popular or not, even though we now find out that like these big stars buy half their followers at least. You know, and then when you have followers, you get suggested to be followed, and it grows that way. Like we know this. Like this is a thing that happens on the internet. Like I get that, but you know, again, they confirmed that it was like 3 times the normal amount. You know, and
the ferocity too is is what really worked. You know, this campaign they. Like when you read the hit piece. Now almost got me speaking the vernacular. I mean, it was like akin to Gamergate stuff with the level of intensity and ferocity, and like it was. And
as we said earlier, like they were also had people that were review bombing other stuff to make it look bad, so that they could say, "Oh, see, this is what people really want is the Snyderverse," and then that feeds into online attitudes. Even when they talk about this stuff, like
here's the things: people make this mistake a lot. I like Twitter. It's my favorite form of social media. It's not real life.
No,
it's not real life. Things that are popular on Twitter don't always translate into what is popular in real life. The Snyderverse being a great example. Like if you talk to a normal human being, they don't know what the Snyderverse even means.
Right.
Right. They don't know why there's 2 versions of Justice League.
Exactly.
Like they were like, oh, that movie was bad the first time. And then it still got less views.
And that's the thing. I think people need to realize too is that in this genre, like people that are going to be pushing release the Snyderverse are, even if it wasn't that activity of bots, even if it's say it was only 5% of bots, like it's being pushed online, but like the average moviegoer has no interest in this at all. It's only the hyper fans of DC Comics and Snyder movies.
Even DC Comics fans are kind of dropping out. I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, like that's the thing is the Snyderverse fans have like the DC Comics fans have never really been crazy about the Snyderverse because it's very different than the comics. Like I don't know many people that read a lot of comics and are just like super into these movies. Like most of the MCU fans don't even read comics. Most movie fans don't read comics. Like might be shocking for people to hear that, but like these trends that try to develop online, they do it. These companies manipulate these numbers so they can get what they want, which is more money to do their stuff.
Right.
Which is what Zack Snyder really wanted. He wanted the access and the money to do his things, even though that story was nuts. The more I think about it, stealing drives and like basically making movies during the height of the pandemic that illegally, like it's wild. That was a wild story. Like it's just entertainment news. So that stuff doesn't really have the landing of like political news, but like that was crazy. That's one of the craziest things I've ever read.
It was
for that movie.
For that movie, right? Not for Citizen Kane.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to use that same. Citizen Kane was a wild movie too when they made that thing. Like we're not talking about the 10 Commandments here.
Right.
We're talking about a remake of a bomb. Like it just it's crazy. Like I said for years on this show, they're not going to release this. This is never going to happen. And they announced it's like, wow, I got to eat my words. They really did it. And you look back at it, you're like, you're dumber than I thought. That's why all you people got fired. He drove a studio into the ground because of decisions like that. And now they got David Zaslav who's running around with a pair of scissors, like cut this, cut that. Oh, hey, we'll get rid of that. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
I want the director's cut of Citizen Kane.
We got the director's cut of Citizen Kane. That was part of the problem. Which, by the way, Kane's a brilliant movie. Kane's an absolutely brilliant movie. He pissed a lot of people off making that thing.
But he also like pioneered a lot of different things
Oh,
like
100%.
the
He's
camera angles and such.
He's one of the great lens techniques and like
Yep.
tracking shots. Like Wells is one of the greatest filmmakers that ever lived, and he torpedoed his career making a brilliant piece of art. He went after. See, this movie came out now. You could have. Oh, dude, if Kane came out now, the social like that is a dude that would know how to utilize bots. Would be Orson Welles. He would be a smart dude, but at the same time, he'd be going against Hearst, and Hearst would be like a Bezos, right?
Yeah.
That's basically was like if you made Kane now, it would be like a movie making fun of Jeff Bezos. But if Jeff Bezos was way more childish,
Yeah.
right? Because
Well,
Hearst was well, he is, but I mean, like vindictive too.
Bezos is too much of a robot. He doesn't know how to be a child.
He's a dork. Bezos is a giant dork who's turning into Lex Luthor more and more by the day, but he doesn't have the commitment.
Right.
he doesn't have a Superman to fight against.
No, but he's also like too much of a nerd to actually be Lex Luthor. Like if he had some balls, he could easily be Lex Luthor.
My God.
But he doesn't. He's a big wuss. Yeah, that would be man. Someone needs to do that now. Someone needs to do the modern Citizen Kane and make it all about Bezos.
Oh my God. Yeah, but what would it be? A sled? What would it be in the modern version?
Spaceship.
Yeah, spaceship. A dick-shaped spaceship.
A dick-shaped spaceship. The spaceship from Flesh Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flesh Gordon. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Flesh Gordon. You ever see that one?
Oh no, I haven't seen the Rule 34 version.
Oh, no, that's what we found when I was like 12 or 13. We found it. One of my friend's parents had it in their bedroom, and we're like, we have to watch it. What is this? It was one of those.
When's Queen come out?
No, we're fully aware of what it was at the time, but it was ridiculous.
Wow.
All young men with that moment. Dave, get a call?
No. I forgot. Something I wanted to mention when we were talking about She-Hulk. I saw this meme on what?
Before I had my meltdown.
Yes. Yeah. I saw this meme online where it was the Hulk from The Incredible Hulk, like hulking out and yelling, and it's like on that picture it says "What we wanted."
Oh yeah.
And then it's a picture of him doing Hulk doing yoga, and it's like "What we got." It's like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
And my response to that, the person who posted it was, "Oh, tell me you've never read an Incredible Hulk comic book without telling me you've read a Hulk comic." Like, like one of the things that bugs me is like the non-talking Hulk, the Rage Monster, doesn't really exist in the comics. He always talked in the comics.
Oh, that's
from issue 1.
Yeah,
like
he spoke broken English.
Yes, but he still spoke. He wasn't a mindless rage monster like he is in the movies.
And he was gray in the first one.
Yes, but those color issues.
Yeah,
it was. Right. But you know, if they're going to be like pure about it, then hey, make him gray, right?
But there's always
about that.
But there's always been this argument over the Hulk. Like, where do you, much like Spider-Man, like how far do you take the Hulk? Right? Because the argument, I remember back in the 90s, they had this argument. Like, if you keep pushing the Hulk further away, he becomes further away from what the Hulk is supposed to be about. So remember, Peter David's the greatest Hulk writer ever. I think we can all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And he had this, I want to say 12-year run in the Hulk. Like, it's comparable to Claremont's X-Men run, something like that. And then he got taken off it, and then Byrne got put on it, and he did the back to the basics Hulk running around the Southwest being monster, and it didn't quite work. And then there's been this kind of up and down on what the Hulk should be, and there's like no two camps agree with it. So it's not like they're unfounded, because some people like the idea of the rage monster, but there's just not much you can do with a rage monster. The same reason why Godzilla movies are wasted on having people do stuff.
So
you don't care about the people.
I started reading.
No, never do care about the people.
Never.
Yet they keep putting them in. And by the way, now Hulk is immortal and like has 50,000 personalities, and he works for One Below All or whatever. I mean, like
I haven't read them. I've heard it's good things. Now. I've heard the Immortal Hulk's a really good book, but I haven't.
It's supposedly, but it's still, you know, he's way off from where they are.
Where he started, yeah. What I was going to say is when I got introduced to the Hulk, so I started my introduction into like collecting comics was the DeFalco artist, the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, DeFalco and Friends, Ron Friends run on Amazing Spider-Man, which then slowly morphed into the Todd McFarlane run on Spider-Man. And then like the Hulk showed up and he was Professor Hulk at that point, you know, so this is late 80s, early 90s, you know, and like, so that was like my introduction to like Hulk in the comics, really, you know, like as a kid reading those books. And then like I went back and read other stuff, and it's like, yeah, like I've even read copies of the first couple issues, and it's just like, yeah, he was more of Frankenstein. Like that was the whole point of the Hulk. Like I never wanted the rage monster that we got in the movies, to be quite honest with you.
So the Hulk's a weird character in the Marvel trajectory, right? The Hulk is because Hulk comes out right around the same time Marvel's kind of re-experimenting with superheroes.
Right.
But he's way closer to the stuff that Kirby and Lee had been doing for the decade prior.
Yes.
Like Hulk is is from those monster books.
Yes.
But for some reason he clicked with all this. Like it's such a weird dichotomy, and it's what makes the Hulk cool is that he has his roots in the Atlas comics, really, of the 50s, right? Those mad sci-fi books that Atlas was putting out.
Yeah.
But he's way closer to that than any of the superhero stuff. But that makes him work, right? But again, it's like you said, it's that sympathy for the devil type of character that's always made the Hulk click. But he's got to move forward, right? Like Hulk can't just be the rage monster. Blah, blah, blah. Like it doesn't work, which is why he was always with other heroes, which is why you had like the drama of Banner, which is why Peter David is the one who really went into why Hulk? Why is the Hulk? And gave us like Joe Fixit and all that cool stuff. Like, but like, I get it. I get people who like, because when Lou Ferrigno gave us the Rage Monster.
Yes.
Yeah, but for
and that's
episodic TV, that's
And that was the problem because that was what we got on TV in the 70s, and that's what the average person thinks of the Hulk.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
but I think Marvel's doing a great job of addressing it by giving us the Professor Hulk.
Yes.
By giving us Ruffalo, like we're giving us a different version of the Hulk. Like you can run it. Like people who say that we wanted this. Well, you got that. That is literally a clip from a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Like we gave that to you. That we don't get here without being there. That is literally the Hulk's character journey.
Yes. And the Incredible Hulk is canon in the MCU, people.
Yes. Tony Stark is in the movie.
Yes. So,
Edward Norton, it just didn't work.
Yeah, that's all.
Remember
Everyone
when
else is the same.
Stan Lee drank the bloody pop and he turned in, remember that?
Oh, his cameo in that, yes.
Because they had the blood trickle into the drink, and that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
So he got the blood transfusion first.
He actually did.
Yeah.
So we're canonically, is that how you said? Canonically established as Hulk blood can make people Hulk. It's been there since Marvel MCU Day 2.
Yes, which means that Stan Lee was actually the first She-Hulk. All right. Well, back to Social Media Madness. That was all that we had. So if you would like to be part of Social Media Madness, and follow us on social media, here's our good friend D Squared to tell you more.
Don't do that to yourself.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter @SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thanks for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. On that note, we'll take our first and only commercial break and be back with some news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back. A lot to talk about this week, except we were right. Well, I mean,
we already went
called
through this.
You called it, JD. Ezra Miller is on his apology tour.
He's looking? He's looking for the Betty Ford escape route, basically.
It's not Betty Ford anymore. Now you're just exhausted and you're going to work on yourself. And every other thing we talked about, he just came. It's like they listened to the show.
So Ezra Miller came out, apologized for past behavior, and is now at the hospital recouping for mental health issues. Yeah, he the person committed crimes. Like, hello, kidnapping.
Literal crimes.
They're a nutcase. They're a rotten person.
So that's the question, though. Miller committed crimes. Should they not go to jail for committing crimes?
They should.
You see, in our society these days, that doesn't work like that anymore.
I mean, this Flash movie better be fantastic.
Oh my God.
You know it's
all
not,
the
right?
drama. Oh, I'm fully aware. But they believe in it more than they believe in Batgirl. And it's led to so many people losing their minds. I keep trying to explain to people, if they don't release Batgirl, they're going to get a $90 million write-off.
Yeah.
They believe in that more than they believe in putting on an HBO Max because they're probably going to make more money. Not one subscription is going to be sold to HBO Max for Batgirl.
And the thing is, I don't think it was made with a big budget, so it's not able to really go into theaters.
90 million is a big budget.
True.
I mean, it's not in this day and age, it's not a humongous budget, but it's not a small budget either. So that's the thing, is that it's too big to be little and too little to be small. Wait, too big. I can't get this cliche out. It's too big to be small, but too small to be big.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if it was a $45 million movie, maybe you could let that thing live on HBO. I mean, I get it if it sucks, and I anticipate this movie sucks. So let them eat it for a year, right? Let them write it off, and then next year you can put it on HBO Max.
Because they also still have come out and said that they will not make any more movies with him after this movie. Like, that's it. They're done with us.
Oh, Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of have to. They can't show. Like, I think they're screwed. Like, they have to make this work.
I'm thinking they're hoping that Ezra Miller goes and gets help, is quiet for a long time. This movie comes out and is a big hit. And they can go, look, he's all better now. Let's do
Dude, it just ain't, it's not.
Wally West is right there. Stop listening to Jeff Johns. Wally West is fine as the Flash.
Grant Gustin is right there, for hell's sake. I mean, I know it's a long shot.
But then you're tied to the TV universe. I agree with you in theory.
Plot twist.
No, they don't. No, they don't have to.
Have him be Wally.
Yeah. Well, he could be just he changed because it's a different universe because of Flashpoint. And he doesn't have to be from the CW universe, even though technically that does exist because Ezra Miller did meet Grant Gustin in was it not that Flashpoint? It was
no, it was in the TV show.
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Crisis. It was in the Crisis.
Yeah, they worked that out, but it doesn't have to be. They could put Grant Gustin in there and just say, he just changed because of Flashpoint. Blah blah blah, and everybody would love it. Like everybody, yeah, I'll accept it. At this point, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm with JD. This better be an amazing movie.
It's not gonna be. I'm sorry, I have no faith in this at all.
I mean, they've given you no reason to have faith in any of this.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Just a $300 million write-off? Like,
you can't do a 300. You could get away with the $90 million write-up.
Right, exactly.
No, you have to put this out. Like they're too far in. Like they're in the mafia at this point.
Yep.
Right? It is. This is like, well, we're boned. We have to see this one out before they cut off our fingers.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me right back in.
And then it's fine. You just kill the Flash at the end, make it Wally. It'll work. They're not worth this much trouble, but you spent $300 million on a movie with them in it. So you have to see it through.
Or do you
knowing who he was, there's no way. What's that?
Ezra Miller prefers to be called they.
Okay,
knowing who respect the wishes of a complete asshole.
Knowing who they
wait a minute. You got a point there.
knowing who, but there's no way when they got him in for Justice League, there's no way they didn't do a background. Well, or then again, it's WB. Maybe they didn't know background.
It's not WB. It's not WB. When you hire a director, you let them cast the movie. They hired Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder wanted him in the movie, or them in the movie.
So he just, sure, whatever. This guy will work.
This is all. Every little bit of issues that they have goes back to Zack Snyder. It's all him.
Well, that's my question. Was there ever any rumors about Miller's behavior before?
Not that I heard of, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
Everything seems to have come within the last 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a bad 2 years too.
But stuff like that doesn't just, I mean, there has to have been something. It's just that the spotlight wasn't on him, that much.
That's true too. What was he in before? I'm sorry, what were they in before Justice League?
Great question. I'm not even sure.
Because Batman v Superman was just a quick cameo. So
the perks of being a wallflower. God,
in 2012. In 2012. Before
We need to talk about Kevin. That was kind of a cool movie, actually.
Trainwreck, Stanford Prison, Madame Bovary, nothing. Yeah, Perks of Wade. Like there was really, I guess he was a child actor before that.
Yeah. I mean, Zack Snyder liked him. That's what it is.
What must have been that one episode of Law and Order that he was in.
That's the thing, is like he probably read for him and Zack Snyder liked him. And it's the same with Ray Fisher. Like there's people he wanted to work with that were off the, at the same time, he gave us, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. And that was great casting.
Yeah.
That one actually
that was
worked.
epic.
So, and he got Henry Cavill as Superman. So, I mean, like he has done some good, some bad. It just bugs me that way. I can't get Henry Cavill back playing Superman, but we can't get rid of Ezra Miller. He's like a bad case of herpes.
Forgot that they were in an episode of Peacemaker. The last episode.
Yeah. He was making fun of him. Them and Jason Momoa.
Right.
Who's also great too as Aquaman. I actually enjoy Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Amber Heard, I mean, like, I don't want to jump on the Amber Heard train right now, but she's just not a very good actress. It never really was.
Yeah, agreed.
She looked like Mara.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no, she was
like
doppelganger for what you think.
She looked like Ivan Rice's drawing of Mara, but they couldn't decide, does she have an English accent? Does she not have one?
Yeah,
like, I don't know, man. This movie, I mean,
because she couldn't. She couldn't.
But they should have realized that day one. But like, this is, I have all these problems with Warner. Like, it's a corporate call. This is why we're in the situation we're in, right? Where David Zaslav's out there destroying, movies. Is like all of these decisions stem back to Zack Snyder.
Okay.
Batman versus Superman was a gigantic failure, and they stuck with him. And the Justice League debacle has been a damn near a decade of just ridiculously.
They kind of pulled it out with Shazam, but
Shazam and Wonder Woman are good movies.
Yeah,
but the others are just like, ugh. Well, okay, you know what? I was going to save it for the end of the show, but I'll do it now. I took Annie to see Super Pets today.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes of the movie is the best Superman intro since Donner.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Like just the destruction of Krypton and the pathos, and it's Alfred Molina and Lena Headey as Jarell and Lara.
Okay.
Right.
Lena Headey. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, again, it's animated, so it doesn't matter what they look like. And it's got the John Williams score, hints of it, not totally over the top, but I love that.
God, I missed that.
And it's like the movie, it's a kid's movie, but there's so much pathos and emotion and character development. And I'm like, this is the best thing DC has done since Batman, since The Dark Knight.
Wow. That is high praise.
I loved it. I liked it more. I liked the Batman a lot. I liked Super Pets more because I was smiling.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
My kid loved it. So, I mean, like, I felt like this movie got Superman better than anything that's been done since Richard Donner. John Krasinski is Superman.
It doesn't seem like
no, he's Mr. Fantastic, damn it.
It doesn't seem like a big leap. Like, yes, I believe that it's the best thing of Superman since the Donnerverse, because what have they done that has been like, oh my God, that is so awesome?
Nothing. The Batman movies, the first 4 that we reviewed, there's ups and downs, right? We can all agree with that. There's ups and downs. The Nolan movies are mostly good. The last one kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
But it's still better than what we got since. Since has been flawed. Wonder Woman has a bad act 3,
But that's only because Snyder.
The guy.
Yeah.
Shazam is fun, but it's a B movie, right?
Yeah.
It's not but it's a run.
But it's rewatchable. It's a
sure.
fun rewatchable B movie. Yeah.
Agreed. I like Fury of the Gods, looks fun too.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks fun. But I mean, like, I'll go to my grave saying Man of Steel was one of the worst things that's ever happened to cinema.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Jesse Eisenberg, they're like, someone was lamenting him not playing Lex Luthor again. I'm like, that guy was nothing like Mark Maron that's who was Lex Luthor in Super Pets, was Mark Maron. He's a better Lex Luthor. He's not my Lex Luthor perfect, but he's a better Lex Luthor.
I think it makes you forget.
Wasn't Lex Luthor. He was almost like Joker Lex Luthor,
It was.
Would you like a candy? Would you like a Jolly Rancher?
It makes you forget the sins of Superman Returns a little bit.
I didn't like that one either. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, Grant, making movies is hard. I will never say I failed in it myself. It's hard to make movies. But when they're failures, they still need to be called out as being such, because it has been done. Right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of
Bruce Timm nailed it. Almost.
Oh, Bruce Timm did the Justice League and Superman and Batman, probably the best that they'll be done for another 100 years at this rate.
Can't argue.
Speaking of wondering if things are going to be done right, we got our first trailer for Wednesday, the new Netflix series coming from the mind of Tim Burton, based on the Addams Family. What did you guys think?
Looks all right. Would John disagree?
No, it seems good. I was pleasantly surprised. It's got the right tone, definitely the right murderous tone.
So like the original Addams Family comics are dark, right?
Yeah.
They're super dark. And the TV show tiptoed around the darkness a little bit. And the old movies were kind of like TV shows.
Yeah.
Not as dark as they could have been. This seems like I think it's the right guy to be doing this too.
Do you think if this was a movie coming in a theater, though, would it do well? Because I think most people are going to think of the TV show and then the other movies.
Yeah, it's a long. I think stuff like this belongs in streaming. Like I worry about the future of streaming because it seems like we're seeing a lot of contraction and streaming is starting. This, by the way, I learned this last week.
Finally.
Do you know this is the year that streaming eclipsed cable? There's more streaming users in this country than cable viewers.
I believe it.
This is the year. This was the year the tipping point happened. But I worry that streaming will start moving to the same direction as cable, as being more of a live event sports deal, because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Right. And we're seeing a lot of contraction. And it worries me because I don't want to see projects like this go away, because this is what makes streaming cool. It's like we've been in a golden age of TV really again for about a decade. And I hope that's not ending, you know? And I think streaming has given new life to creators who tell long form stories and like give a chance to movies that look fun, but maybe are a little off the beaten path that wouldn't quite land in theaters like this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, and I agree. It's a much darker tone. I think it is probably truer to the original comics. I think Tim Burton is probably the only person that could give us something like this.
Agreed.
Where it's going to be dark but have a whimsical side to it, which is what the Addams Family comic, from my understanding, is supposed to be.
Yeah, he was born for this.
Yeah,
and the actress seems the actress who plays Wednesday looks spot on. You know,
Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman.
Oh, that's Guzman. Oh my God.
That's a little weird, but
I've seen so many pictures of him and the comic Gomez next to each other, and it's like
perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've all if the nobody but me has actually watched the original TV show.
I watched the TV show. I grew up in the 80s. It was on TV. It was on reruns.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't expect that, but like you said, from the original comic, he is a perfect match. So
well, the guy's name was Gomez, and they kept having. Well, that's not fair. Raul Julia is Latin, so
yeah,
right.
That's okay. John Aston wasn't, but I mean, like this is Raul Julia is kind of debonair, and like Gomez Addams, I don't think was supposed to be, and this I like it. Catherine Zeta-Jones looks perfect as Morticia. Like
yeah,
I'm on board. I'm in. This looks great.
No, definitely.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Yeah, this looks fun.
No, I will definitely check it out when it comes out. Hopefully get past the first episode.
Oh my God. Just give things a chance. You got to let it breathe like a fine wine sometimes.
I don't know, man. There's so much stuff that I think it's got to grab you right away. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to the point where if it doesn't grab and hold on to me, like I move on because there's so much to watch.
I agree with you 100%, Dave. I think that stuff has to kind of get you. Like, there's so much other stuff to view. Like, Hawkeye didn't grab me. That's why I didn't come back to it. Like,
I know, but
you got to earn my trust.
It's such a shame that and I know it's kind of a effect of having so many different streamings and if you've got cable, you've got 300, 400 channels, but seriously, like the good stuff always required time to breathe. Like you're not going to watch a sitcom and ditch it after one episode because it takes a while for them to hit a stride. Like that's the actual term in the business. You hit a stride. These guys, you can't hit a stride in one episode. It's like, it's kind of sad because we're going to miss a lot of good stuff because you didn't hit it the right. And in order to hit it in the right, they have to do stupid things like, action scene 3 days before, it's like, you just have to use all of these tropes that people are kind of tired of too.
I don't think they're kind of tired of those things. Game of Thrones, to grab my attention, gave me an incest scene and they threw a kid out a window.
Well, that was Game of Thrones.
But I mean, that's how you grab attention, right? Okay,
but
this
again,
is
that was Game of
This
Thrones.
but okay, that's the trend. Like that's the horse everyone's chasing is Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They set the tone for what Breaking Bad, like these things set the tone for what TV can be. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And
Come on strong. Give me your fastball right away.
And I think
but some of the best stories don't their fastball comes after they build to it,
But why am I mean, like, if you don't get me, well, I mean, like, especially if a movie, I'll give that to you. With a movie, I'll give that. I can take a slow start in a movie, but with a TV show, that pilot has to grab me. Like that's always been TV. Like, or at least I got to feel the potential there. Like, I got to feel it. If I don't feel it, I'll move on to something else.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I go back to She-Hulk. Like, I feel the potential. Like, I feel like they're going to give us a really good story arc for her based on the first episode. So, like, I want to keep watching it.
I discovered something on the internet yesterday, and I will not get you guys to appreciate
the
this
internet
until it was on Twitter. Like as much as Twitter can be banal, like there can be some great stuff too. So and this is what we're talking about with TV's gotta grab you right away because sometimes it just doesn't work. And I'm going to show you guys something. You're young, you're older than me, I should say. So you possibly could remember this. And Dave, I think you could put this into the show because nobody will sue us for this. I think people would rather forget it. So I'm going to stick this link in the chat and I want you guys to watch it. We'll watch it. We'll watch it together because I think this needs to be done as a family.
Okay, but we're coming up on the
Oh no, please. This is great. 3, 2, 1, hit play. Are you guys familiar with it?
Hold on, it's taking oh my god. Oh my god.
Have you seen this?
I remember this from a long time ago.
I want you to watch this and look at this cast. We're watching the trailer for you guys. We're watching the intro to Half Nelson.
Victoria Jackson. Holy crap.
Victoria Jackson, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Fred Williams, former NSL football player. He was also in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I love that we're doing this while people are listening to us talk.
Oh no, we're gonna edit it into the show.
Okay.
Like and have it go underneath the music.
Don't know who Gary Grubbs is, but
he's been in stuff. This is also the longest TV intro ever.
Introducing Tony.
Hey, there's more after the dog. There's more people. It gets wilder.
The dog got top billing.
They keep watching.
Over Dip Butkus?
Yes, it keeps going.
Over Dip Butkus. and nobody's ever really watched this, right?
Bubba Smith. Police Academy movies.
Yep.
Keep going. Wait till the last one.
I don't remember I remember Joe Pesci had a show.
Dean Martin. Holy crap.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. How bad must this show have been?
So I remember Joe Pesci had a show. He's really young looking in this. So this had to be
85.
early 80s.
85.
85. Okay.
Because I had to know about this after I saw this. Super Sports of the 70s.
Dean Martin looked super old though.
Dean Martin he was super old. Dean Martin looked old when he was 30. Like, he lived a hard life, the man did. Super Sports of the 70s is a phenomenal Twitter follow. They just post nothing but old stuff. You guys should follow them. They're great. I saw this. I'm like, I have to know more. 9 episodes this got in the 1980s. And that's a lot for a show that failed, right?
Yeah. 9 is a lot for a show that failed. They gave it 9 chances to find an audience.
9 chances to find an audience. It was a spring replacement show. Look at that cast. This is Joe Pesci post Raging Bull.
Yeah.
So he's a thing. He's not what he would be, but he'd already been an Oscar nominated actor. He didn't seal the deal yet, but I mean, he was on the come up. And this is Victoria Jackson pre Saturday Night Live. And then you have like this peripheral cast. Like, I know that guy. NFL legends up the wazoo. I think it might be Spuds McKenzie. I'm not sure.
It does look like, I think you're right.
I'm fairly certain that's Spuds McKenzie.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is wild. And Dean Martin, and he's actually playing Dean Martin. I found out.
What is the show about?
It's a private. Okay, tell me if you've heard this one before. It's about a cop from New York City that gets transported to Beverly Hills.
I've never heard of that before.
Well, imagine if I said Detroit instead of New York City. How would it sound more familiar?
Like I was being facetious.
It is a complete. Even that intro is a complete ripoff of that famous montage from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. It is.
It's a total they just put an Italian guy. I won't just say a white guy, but they put a white guy in there instead of Eddie Murphy.
Oh my god!
It's like the same thing.
insane. Oh my god.
This is why you don't have to give shows a lot. You could get the judgments we made about that show, watching that never-ending intro piece, were 100% correct.
You're right. You're right, and that is a good example for what we were just talking about. Like, it's got to grab you, and keep you coming back.
But again, like a lot of the best shows you heard of took a while to grab you. Yeah, I mean,
I disagree. I mean, like, you can go back. A lot of those shows took a while for people to find them, but they were always good. Cheers took a while for people to find, but if you watch the pilot for Cheers, you're like, okay, there's something here. And they don't have it yet, but you feel it. Like, you know it's going to be good. Same with Seinfeld, they believed in, and they let that breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, Seinfeld, it does take a while for it to get going, but that's like the exception to the rule in that show, right? Like, The Simpsons came out guns blazing, right? And they would get better, but I mean, like, it worked right away.
Yeah. And Friends, but
Friends also hits the ground running. Like, again, it gets better, but in that pilot, you can feel it. Like, you can feel like, okay, this is going to work. Like, nothing about that show, everything should, like, if you wrote that on paper, right? I don't know why I call Half Nelson. My brother's like, why wasn't he a wrestler? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, the title makes no sense whatsoever. Like, probably because Beverly Hills Cop was already taken. Like, but if I were to write all those things down for you for a 1980s sitcom or 1980s cop show on the same network that gives me Hunter,
true,
and Hill Street Blues, like, you'd be like, oh, this is going to work.
The character's name was Rocky Nelson.
Okay, they made up that name so they could go with the name Half Nelson. Still doesn't make sense.
Oh my god.
Should be like Rocky Gambino or something like that. We got Joe Pesci playing him.
So where are we on the list here?
Who cares?
Wednesday.
Who cares at this point? We're talking about failed shows from the 80s.
I know, but
God.
I got work tomorrow.
We all have work tomorrow.
We all have work.
Oh,
JD
right.
has to
shaping young minds,
shaping the future of America. So
I feel safe with that, actually, with you shaving.
All right, fine. Moving on, fans are now asking, is Moon Knight out of the MCU?
Why?
So eagle-eyed viewers who watch the TV shows, you know, there's the little Marvel logo that goes by in the beginning, and it shows other characters from other shows in the thing. And for Miss Marvel, Moon Knight was in that little intro thing. He's now been removed for She-Hulk.
And they took Rocket out too, but they're more worried about Moon Knight because he's way newer. So
right,
I think it's kind of been settled that it underperformed. I don't know if that's accurate, but I think that's the narrative.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think they'll use the character. Well, and the other thing they're pointing out is that they don't hire actors for multi-year contracts anymore. So it's a per project basis for everything now with them.
That would be a shame because I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. They remake that thing all the time. I wouldn't read into that too much.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got so much now to put on it, but you know, there is something to be said about usually they're very detail oriented about this and replacing something so new.
I mean, I know they said that Oscar Isaac said no one talked to him about a season 2 when they were done making the season 1, even though it does set up a season 2 in my mind at the end of season 1. So
they should talk about it. I mean,
Warner DC is pulling stuff off of HBO Max.
Yeah, it's true.
Sesame Street has disappeared, and people are stressing. It is a shame, and then people are stressing out Moon Knight being removed from the intro.
Fair enough.
You know.
Yeah, I kind of hope that it doesn't mean he's gone. That's all.
Nah, he's not gone.
Oh, but the tie-in to She-Hulk is the chopsticks with the Cheetos. That is something Oscar Isaac posted on social media before the show came out. Like,
that's wild.
A long time ago, that he eats his Cheetos with chopsticks so he doesn't get cheesy finger hands.
The spicy Cheetos too, usually, so you don't get the spicy stuff.
Dude, kids love that stuff.
So, yeah,
that's
right.
Wild. That's wild. I mean, I had no idea that was a thing.
I didn't either, and I thought that was a weird little thing to add in the show. But you know, it was cute.
Yes.
And it was a Chikari spaceship, by the way. That
right. So his son Scar.
I thought he said Sakaar.
Sakaar. So like it could either be they want him back, or it's about his son, or
something. Scar, son of Hulk. I didn't think
Scar.
about
Yeah.
that. Oh, okay.
He was on that planet for a while, and he mentions it in the show. All right.
Yeah, 2 years.
Bravo, mon capitaine.
So we shall see. No speculation. This isn't WandaVision. All right.
Nope, we're done with that.
It's not Mephisto.
I didn't say anything.
One day.
And
One day we will be right.
And finally,
You belong to me.
you guys have heard of Mark Silvestri before, right?
Absolutely.
He is returning to DC, even though he did one book in the 90s at DC, Batman Black and White, to do a Black Label book, Batman and Joker, Deadly Duo.
This is a case of Mark Silvestri called and said, "Hey, can I do a Batman Joker book?" And DC said, "Yeah, okay."
Well, I can't confirm this because the only place I saw this was on Bleeding Cool, but apparently he signed a multi-year contract with them.
Mark Silvestri? Really?
Yeah, to do this book. Yeah, like a 5-year contract.
Is that how long they're anticipating it takes for this to come out?
Ooh.
The Image guys are not known for punctuality.
Well, they're old too now. They don't have to be punctual.
True.
Not that any of them ever were.
I'm about to say, isn't that why Image kind of like faltered a lot?
Was Silvestri, because Silvestri was Witchblade. I think he was Witchblade.
He was what was the team that they won the rip off of the X-Men team that they had?
They had like 3 of them.
X Factor or
No.
X Factor was Marvel. He did work on
Wildcats
X
was
Factor.
Jim Lee's.
Oh, I see.
I'm losing my comic cred. Well, he's the Top Cow guy, so he's been doing his Top Cow. Well, yeah, Witchblade. I was right. He's Witchblade. Cyberforce.
Cyberforce. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Darkness. Yeah.
The Darkness. How many issues of the Darkness did we get?
Good question. Look that up real quick.
Because I don't think that lasted long, and that was touted as like going to be one of their big books.
The Darkness, fictional superhero. I don't know. Can't tell.
That doesn't say how many years. Okay, but yeah, it's just
I probably erred in this.
all right, but yeah.
96, volume 1, 96 to 2001, volume 2, 2002, 2005.
Oh, okay.
That's not terrible, actually. It's a decade. Volume 3, 2008, 2012, 2013. It's been a while since. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think they're monthly books though either.
More reasonable than most Image titles.
Yeah, what is it? Dragon and Savage Dragon and Spawn, I think, are the only 2 books that have continuously come out monthly since the company started.
And the Savage Dragon said the same dude. It's Eric Larson. Every issue. That's impressive. That's 30 years, right?
That character dies with him, right? Like he's like,
right. But I also think
it's not even a character anymore. It's
McFarlane was smart and brought in other people to work on Spawn with him.
Yes. But it also got, I don't know about smart, because it also got in some legal. Smart might not be the word for it, because that cost him a lot of money.
True.
So, yes, intriguing of a decision, because he brought in like Gaiman, and Gaiman's like, "I own that," and he's like, "You don't own that. I own that. We'll let the courts decide." Now Marvel owns that, and Miracle Man. How that whole thing got tied into that, I have no idea. That's a wild. That I would love to hear an entire podcast breakdown on Miracle Man to Marvel. And Marvel's owned it since 2009, and they're finally going to do something with it.
What was the character from Spawn?
Angela,
that's it. Yeah.
Marvel owns her. I don't know if Marvel's done anything with her for a while.
No, I don't think they have. They just own her now.
But that's a weird decision, because I don't know if I've said this at the time. I don't know if Angela works without Spawn. Like, people always freak out about, this person could leave DC. And I'm like, yeah, but what are they? If they're, like, this doesn't necessarily work, because again, I don't think Angela serves a purpose without Spawn. No, weird.
No, I always thought that was like, I'm sorry, Sony wants to make all these movies with supporting characters that don't work without Spider-Man.
Doesn't work. They keep screwing it up. Like Venom was kind of fun because it's Venom. I don't know if they're they're good movies.
Venom can kind of work without Spider-Man.
Kinda, but I mean, but again, the big glaring thing of where is Spider-Man in all of this is still hangs over those movies. Morbius, like everything else they're trying to do, like this Craven movie, it's gonna be ass.
Oh my god, I can't believe they're making it. I'm sorry, it's just stupid.
It is stupid. But they've spent all that money on Spider-Man, and they want to make some of it on their own and not to split it.
Craven without Spider-Man, though. I mean, like,
that's like making a Metallo movie.
It's like making a Venom movie without Spider-Man. I mean,
it's like making a Joker movie without Batman.
Well, it turns out that could actually work.
Kinda.
They won an Oscar. I mean, like,
I don't care if it won an Oscar. It's not a Joker movie.
I mean, like, I agree with you, but the culture has disagreed with us and said
it's
that
a guy who put white makeup on his face. It's not the Joker.
It said the Joker on the credits. and they're making part 2 with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, and it's like, it's not for this. Clearly, is not movies for us. We have Margot Robbie, so we're okay. She's great as Harley Quinn, by the way.
Yes. So, but back to Silvestri. This goes back to, we talked about Black Label before. This goes back to like, is this going to be the real future of comics?
It could be.
Forget the continuing continuity. Just like a creator wants to do a 10-issue story for Batman, not in continuity. So I'm just going to create this, boom, move on. And then someone else can do another story.
I think that might be the best route for DC.
Yeah.
It's the only route they've got at this point. They've burned every other bridge.
I mean, like they don't, but they're so known for their universal resets that it's a joke.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the best stuff they do is kind of out of continuity. So I mean, like, I think this is the way to be. Like, I really like that Swamp Thing one I read a couple months ago.
Yeah.
The Green Hell or the Green Inferno. Like, I really like that.
The Swamp Thing, the latest series that they did was really good, and then they killed it before they released it.
Yeah, they did do that. I mean, like, that's the fact of, like, you know, maybe the series. I mean, like, I know comics is a periodical business, but maybe the idea of the continuing series is kind of an outdated model. You know?
I think so. I think nothing lasts forever, right?
Even Cold November Rain.
Okay.
Oh my God. Guns N' Roses references, love it. Like, there's no TV show that has gone on forever. I mean, in the shows that have gone on for a long time, lose audience. They do.
Doctor Who did disappear for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
It was gone and then it came back. It was revived. Like, it was gone for a long time. So it's like things don't last forever. So, and the idea that like these DC comics have been around since the 30s. The Action Comics is 38, I believe. Yeah. So I mean,
knocking on the door of 100 years.
Exactly. They're 16 years away.
Like, it doesn't bother me, because again, what DC does really well. I mean, trades are where things get sold, right? Trades and now in digital, people buy bundles, right? So it's like, I think this might be the way to go.
Yeah,
I really do.
Would it work for Marvel?
No, I don't think it would. And this is why. Marvel is built on its continuity. Even its cinematic universe is built on this MCU, this idea of this continuing story, where DC kind of shoehorned it into theirs, and it's never quite worked. You know? But I think that it could, right? They tried, remember, and then that got its, then after a while, that had its own continuity for a decade, and then that got stupid. I mean, like,
then they brought that in to the main.
Then they merged everything
because it got too confusing. Like, it's continuity has a drawback. I think we're starting to see it with the TVs, with the MCU, right?
We are seeing that because in real life, actors age out of these roles, or they don't want to do them anymore. Like, I've spent 10 years playing this character. I want to go do other things.
And I'm less interested in these other characters than I was in a Captain America. I'm, to be honest with you, you know.
And the thing is too, right? Like, I can't blame Robert Downey Jr. He got a full character arc, a long, involved character arc for Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's got to end. Like, because again, it's like then you've got to keep resetting him back, and it doesn't work. You know, like, he was lucky in the fact that like the character doesn't reset back. He does move on and finds new things that make him go crazy and do weird stuff.
But this is where we tease DC a lot, but this is where DC has shined, is that we've gotten so many interpretations of Batman, cinematically speaking.
Yeah.
Right. To the point where, I mean, we've got our favorites, right? Oh, I didn't like this Batman. I like this Batman. No, well, this one was more my Batman. You know, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. You know,
I mean, people like, still say Adam West is their Batman.
There are people that say that. They're crazy, but they say that.
Like, I mean, in a lovable way, but not.
Yeah, I've come around on that one. But I think that might be the way to go, because then you go, hey, I got this really good story. What do I have to read? Because that's like a big barrier of entry to getting people into comics.
Right.
You have to know this, and this.
It's becoming a barrier entry to the movies.
It is becoming a barrier of entry to the movies.
Does She-Hulk make any sense if you've not seen the Avengers movies and the Hulks?
No, but that's what they want. This is what they're trying to do. It's never been done before cinematically. So this is Marvel's grand experiment to put their business model into a different medium. And it's been successful, but how long can it go? I don't know. DC is trying to mirror it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they should just do what DC is always meant to be. right? It was never meant to be. There wasn't continuity in DC until the early 80s.
Well, it also bugs me that they said they were going to just do standalone. I think 2 years ago we talked about
They
that.
fired everybody.
Yeah.
I know, but
It's a different company.
But they didn't make a full commitment. They didn't just cancel all the Snyderverse stuff right then and there.
You're right.
And start anew. Like,
and now the crew that they hired after firing everybody is having all their work canceled.
But that's the thing is, like, you got the new boss. Very rarely, you guys have been part of corporate mergers and stuff like that. The new boss is very rarely interested in what the old boss wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know. So this happens, and this is their problem: is that we've had so much tumultuousness in Warner and Warner Discovery now that it's never going to find its footing, really.
Usually it's a bad thing when the new boss comes in and destroys everything that's been working for a while. But in this case, you can't go any lower. So
maybe not.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I think that can it get worse? Maybe.
Oh, it will.
Possible.
Possibly, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten that horse enough for this week.
Ground it up, turned it into glue, made high school cheeseburgers with it, because that's what's in the burgers.
Oh my god.
Horse meat.
Yum.
I'm kidding.
So
District 428. I would never say anything bad about the school lunches.
So before we wrap it up, do you guys have either a recommendation or did you learn something on the podcast this week? And we'll start with JD.
Super Pets.
That's your recommendation?
Yeah, go see Super Pets. It was a lot of fun. My kid liked it. We both cried during the origin of Ace the Bat Hound. Like,
ooh,
it's great. It's great.
You're making me want to see this. I think
it's good. No, John, I think you'll like it. Actually, I really do. Like, it's got a lot more heart than I expected.
I heard. Oh, it has Kevin Hart in it.
Well, boom. They also have Chip the Green Lantern, the Green Lantern squirrel.
And hold on.
Oh, cool. There's a deep cut.
Yes. Did you know? Do you know the Rock released the after credit scene on his social media? Like,
there's an after credit scene
after the movie was released.
Oh,
yeah,
man, no, I didn't. The kid wanted to go, so I didn't get to see the after credit scene. Now I got to look that up.
Unless it's just the end of the movie.
What is it?
The
la 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 la
Black Adams.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Okay.
La la la.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up after the show.
Okay.
And I think he released it because it was him playing against himself.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. So, all right, John, how about you? Any recommendations or anything you learned?
Go to Hulu and see Prey. It's well worth it completely.
You're telling us to eat, pray, meme?
Eat, pray, die, basically.
Eat, pray, die. That's better. Damn it.
Eat, pray, die.
Run, pray, die. There you go.
Run, pray, die.
So anyway, yeah.
Missed marketing campaign, really, when you think about it.
True.
Oh.
But that's it. I, learn things. Me? I don't think so. I'm a little too old for that, damn it.
You know what I learned, John?
What?
You belong to LA.
Oh, God damn it.
You belong to me.
All righty.
All right.
That's my cue.
Well, I recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page. They're not currently there. I don't know what happened. The layout changed. I got to fix it. Comic book reviews from our good friend D Square. Occasional rants and news posted by me. And learn that if people on the internet who aren't writers say things that upset JD, he turns into the Hulk.
If they could say, it's not just non-writers. It's just people that talk about bad writing who don't know good writing from bad writing. I don't like a story. Doesn't make it bad.
Yes.
You can not like it. Doesn't make it bad. I don't like Titanic. I think it's an awful movie. Doesn't make
I have never seen it.
Can't stand it. Hate it.
But
it's not bad. Like, I mean, it's not like it's terrible. Avatar, I don't like it. It's not like that doesn't make it bad writing. It just means
it's Pocahontas in space.
It is in fact Pocahontas in space.
Mm.
With bits of Alien.
Yes. I actually will recommend. I enjoyed it. Is the Elvis movie. I thought it was really well. To see Tom Hanks play a villain, more or less, is he every time I think he can't like go to the next level acting wise, like
he's great.
Yeah, like he's so transformed in this movie. It's perfect.
Has he been a villain before?
I don't know.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I can't think of like anything that stands out in my head of him being, and now of course he's not a a villain, but he's
mustache
still,
twirling villain.
yeah, but he's definitely the villain of this film. So
interesting.
Yeah. Like, yeah, and you'll learn something you never knew about Elvis Presley. Had life. He has, yet, doesn't matter how much fame and fortune you have, you can still be a lonely person. So
this is true.
Yeah. And on that happy note,
nice.
As always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cable caught in the door. Have a good week.